Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pen Fan series. My name is Joost Appelboom and today we have a very special guest for the Pen Fan series. But before I start to talk about that, the Pen Fan series is 3 questions that we ask to a pen person, a pen fan, and he or she is going to answer them. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to do that right now. The guest for today, it is the one and only Hemingway Jones, aka Tim Steiner. And we are really happy to have him here on the Pen Fans Show because we also had him as a co-host on the podcast, the Appelboom Bites podcast, for a really long time. And we have 3 really interesting questions for him. So let's start right away. The first question that I have for you, Hemingway Jones, is how did you get into fountain pens?
Oh, wow. That's a fantastic question. It was a very long time ago in the really early 1990s. After having seen them and sort of dabbled in them, I really started to get into journaling. And I think a lot of people sort of go through this process when you start handwriting a lot. You say, boy, I wish my handwriting were better. And then you think, well, maybe a fountain pen would help me to have better handwriting, which I'm not sure they're exactly correlative, but certainly it gets you writing more and you get to practice more and you have different nibs and whatnot and get different shapes. So you can certainly express yourself in a variety of different ways. So I sort of slipped down that rabbit hole with trying to get my writing to look a little more interesting. And my guide was always vintage handwriting. So I was always looking back at the way people wrote in the 40s. My grandparents were still alive then, could see their writing. And I just sort of wanted to have that kind of look to my script. And it just inspired me to buy my first fountain pen, which was a Waterman. Pretty, nice little pen. I enjoyed it. Sadly, it did not go well at first. But then I settled into some long-term love affairs with my fountain pens.
That's a wonderful story. And I'm really curious, did it help your handwriting?
Maybe after 30 years, it's improved. But it's a constant struggle and it's constant maintenance for me. And I'm never really satisfied. Just as I think I have an R that I like, I see another one in some vintage letter or something, and I start to emulate that. So I guess I have a very short script attention span, if you will.
Well, that's good. All right, Hemingway Jones, let's go to the second question.
Sure.
Because the second question is, of course, you have 1 trillion pens, but how do you store them?
Yes, the perennial challenge for all of us. It's sort of funny. There's always pens within reach. And I have a desk I work with at home, and there's always a couple here, usually ones I'm filming with or ones I just have for work, my actual job. And I always have a fountain pen within reach wherever I am. So if you can call leaving it out on a desk a storage system, then that's probably my primary one. But secondarily, I use these Jorolojo zip storage. And these hold 24 pens.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I like these so much is you can see I have all these shelves behind me, and these are almost like books.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can put all your pens there and just sort of shelve them. And they just blend right in, and it's super easy. I mean, I think it'd probably be better if I could store some horizontally in slots, because some of the bigger pens don't fit in here. Benu is a little challenging. Even Shown Design doesn't have a clip, so you have to put a little piece of duct tape. I have duct tape in some of mine at the bottom here to keep them from sliding away. Some Kavecos too. But by and large, it's a pretty effective system. The other thing, though, I did that's really silly is I really like the burgundy color, and I ended up buying, I think I bought 2 in burgundy. So sometimes it's hard to tell which is in what, but now I've learned that I should branch out. I kind of like uniformity, but I guess I wasn't thinking deeply that I have to be able to tell which pens are in which case.
I know that they also have the 96 case. Is that something that you consider?
I actually have a big case that holds a few hundred, but it doesn't shelve as well. I don't know if it has that. It need that book dimensions.
That makes sense.
It seems like you could probably go one more, right? You could probably do 12 more and have it fairly effective, but too many would get carried away. But it is a really nice way to do it, and they're always within reach.
Mm-hmm.
I have all my journals here, and my pens are just below them.
Very nice, very nice. That's a great way to store your pens, Hemingway Jones. Let's go to the third and final question, because what is your top tip for someone that's using fountain pens?
Would it be just anybody in general or a beginner?
You can answer both.
Okay, I'll just answer both. I guess I could answer a couple different ways. If you're a beginner, I would just emphasize don't press too hard. And going back to what I was alluding to when I mentioned the Waterman pen, my first pen, I pressed so hard I literally snapped it in half. It broke right where it screws together. I still have the pieces somewhere. I'm hoping I can find them one day, because they would be a lot of fun to make a video and sort of share my shame with everyone that you can do these big fails and still become successful with any hobby. So just be very gentle, be as light as you can. The weight of the pen should be enough for it to write. Mm-hmm. So that's one tip. The second one I'd say is inspired by a pen I just got from Esterbrook, which was a promo pen. It's the new Esterbrook Raven, and it has an extra fine nib. And I generally don't use extra fine nibs. Mm-hmm. I have a couple. My E95S is a extra fine, and my Mont Blanc calligraphy nib, when you're not flexing, is an extra fine, right? But I think that's it in my whole collection by and large. And this is the first one that I really have that's dedicated sort of extra fine, and it's not funky like the E95S, which has a little bit of spring. It's a very cool nib, by the way. The Esterbrook is very smooth, and I was shocked at how smooth it is for an extra fine. I know it's a Yovo nib, but it's fantastically expressed. And, it's all black, which makes it really cool as well. So what I'm getting at in a very roundabout way is try something different. If you write with broad, try an extra fine. If you're a thin line person, go as wide as you can. Don't be afraid to try things that you think might not be perfect for you.
Mm-hmm. I think I really like that tip. Try different kind of things. Very well done. Well, Hemingway Jones, thank you so much for answering these 3 questions of us. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that right now and head over to the YouTube channel of Hemingway Jones right now, after you have subscribed, of course. And then we will see you next week. Bye-bye.